Hey, good evening. Welcome to Captive Audience. Fabulous Friday. It is Friday the 13th, and I'll tell you, I don't know what it's like being if airline pilots or others have a taboo, but I will tell you as a sailor, there's some taboos on Friday the 13th. So I'm just going to dive right in. I'll tell you, I am watching some of the news that's going on. While we are winning, the right side, President Trump's side, the Republican side, the conservative side, it's more and more apparent to me how much the left hates America. The deep state of our government bureaucracy hates the United States citizens, the tax-paying United States citizens. And if you're paying attention, you really see that. And it's sad to say, but it's the reality. And you have to know what the bad news is in order to fix things. It's the good news won't hurt you, but the bad news things can. Just a little food for thought. Well, I'm pasting a story here that's out of Coin News. And, you've heard about the drones and these unidentified flying objects that have over in New Jersey. Well, now they've been in other parts of the world, Germany. Well, an Oregon pilots, at least 4 commercial pilots, encountered mysterious lights darting through the skies above Oregon this past weekend. And this is so strange. And so, and our government is saying nothing. And I do mean nothing. When you have the FBI and the DHS say no evidence that these drones, these New Jersey drones, pose a national security threat, how do you know when they say they don't know who it is? How do you know it doesn't pose a national security threat? I call BS. We're not being told the truth. It is, I believe, I don't know. I mean, this is clearly happening. I've seen lots of videos, lots of eyewitnesses, and this story that I just posted, they were these pilots. It was a life flight pilot, actually, and 2 medics. And they saw it going in and out and around, and it would fly away, come back. And some go, oh, well, it was air traffic control said that they couldn't see it. And so, but yet, one of the lights was going in circles in a corkscrew pattern and showed up on his air traffic collision avoidance system. So there you have that. But yet the air traffic control said they couldn't see it. And in fact, this pilot says, I saw a target that would stop right on the ring before it would go back out over the horizon, disappear out over the horizon off the ocean. Well, when you're in an airplane, the horizon's a long way. I don't know how many miles. It's going to depend on your altitude. When I was aboard our sailing vessel, if you were standing on the deck, it was 4 miles was the horizon. Well, I'll tell you, in an airplane, it's a lot further. And so for them not to be able to see that and then come back and air traffic control says, we couldn't see it. It's interesting. And were they lying? I don't know. I have no proof of that, but somebody is. Somebody isn't saying what's going on with all of these drones. There's dozens of drone sightings that have been reported in New Jersey, started in November. And in this story from the Epoch Times, it is saying, that the pressure's mounting over the siting of all of this. And it's, I believe, and then you have, it was, I think it was a mayor somewhere said that if he ordered the police department or the fire department, if the police happen to see one and it lands or whatever, um, if it lands, then they need to call for hazmat and the police department to be, deploy their hazmat suits. And he said he doesn't know what it is. So I guess wear a hazmat suit just as a precautionary. Um, is it another country? Is it our own country? Are they actually manned as one story? The two agencies, the FBI and this other Epic Times story, FBI and DHS says no evidence the New Jersey drones pose a national security threat. And the two agencies said some of the drone sightings are actually manned vehicles. How do they know that? And I have to keep in mind, this is just where my mind goes. You tell me where yours is going. But the inauguration is just a short time away. So what's this all about? This has never, to my knowledge, happened before. Never. And so what's this all about? Is this our nation? Are these ours? And some reports that people saying it looks like they're searching for something. They keep coming back to this area. Well, there happens to be a lot of military bases of various sorts around. I was looking at a map earlier today. And so I don't know. I don't know what it is, but our some of our legislators, congressmen, senators, are saying, hey, what is this? Nobody's telling us. Well, they're not going to tell us if they were told. You know, there might be one that says, you know what, we know it's all okay. We can't tell you. And frankly, the public, well, I was going to say the public doesn't need to know everything. Well, from a military standpoint, that's a very true statement. But what is going on? Something is going on. And should they be shot down? And then the speculation, well, if you shoot it down, you're going to be responsible for whatever it damages when it lands, and whatever it hits. Well, I would rather have that than what is this going on up there? So they're, let's see, taking it seriously. I don't think so. When these drones have the ability to fly over restricted airspace, and so I don't know. But I'm not liking it. I don't like that. I don't believe that you can't tell me all of our, 14 or 24 intelligence agencies don't know anything. Baloney. You thought I was going to say something else, right? Yes, baloney. And but it's wrong that we don't know something about this, especially since it's been happening for a long time. Something that has been continually lied about is January 6th. And now the Inspector General's report is out. And while they would never say, how many did you have any government operatives, any of their paid employees, did you have any agents in the crowd? I can't answer that. I don't know. I don't have that answer. It was a lie. So now it says there's been 26 assets. And I'm going to bet you it was more. I would just about bet you it's more. Kind of like what we heard of Oregon's undocumented voters. When the first number came out, I said it's going to be more. And the second number came out, I said it's going to be more. We're at 54,000 right now. It's going to be more. And it's going to be more. These are 26 assets. What about the employees? There's so many ways that they call them assets or employees, hiring independent contractors and so forth. So what's going to be the repercussion of that? Personally, I want to see justice. Those that have lied to Congress, those for the sham J6 trials, the sham J6 committee, I want to see justice brought. Instead of, well, we'll have another investigation and there's no repercussions. Sometimes, no, oftentimes, the Republicans are too damn nice. The Democrats will go after you with everything, and the Republicans will not. Now, do we turn the other cheek on everything? We do a lot. But when you are committing perjury, when I believe some of the things that have gone on are even treasonous. I personally my opinion is, I want the Trump administration to investigate and bring the truth out. And some people need to be held accountable. Absolutely. I believe we have a lot of very good people working for our government. And I think we have others that are in the management, the upper echelon, that have not been. And yes, I do believe, those that are saying, oh, but we know what's best. We know what's best for our nation. Well, you know what? We have a president. Not the one currently. The one currently who couldn't find his way out of a box. Not that one. There's a puppet behind him that's wreaking havoc, giving away money, selling the border wall for $5 a panel. It's despicable, it's disgusting, and it sure pisses me off seeing what is happening in our country right before we will have the inauguration of our new president. So that's kind of where you're getting the feeling of where I am. And so the FBI was everywhere on Capitol Hill on January 6th. And even though they said, no, we don't know, I can't tell you, I can't confirm, whatever. Now, yes. But yet this 88-page report says there were no FBI undercover agents on site. And but we now know that there were 26 paid confidential human sources. So, but hundreds of other cops of all stripes are in the crowd. There's going to be more coming out of this. And I can't wait for the truth to come out, because that is the biggest sham in America to date, is in my opinion. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. But I'll tell you, I was at an event earlier this year, And I heard, whatever you think it is, it's way worse here in America. Whatever you think it is. So, maybe we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. I don't know, but I do know that we need change, because if we don't change what's going on in America, we are going to end up in a socialist communist country, because that's what the left has been having their foot down on the pedal, taking us there as rapidly as they could, and implementing everything they could to help destroy our nation. And one way is spending us into oblivion. Absolutely. There's so many factors here, and there's a lot of things to pay attention to, and it's too bad coming up on the holiday season to even have to talk like this. But you're hearing me from my heart and what I think about. And I want, like you, don't we all want what's best for our country? We do. We do. And so to learn what we've all known is that there were saboteurs and provocateurs amongst the crowd, and then they still prosecute and are still arresting today and prosecuting today January people that were there. They might not have ever even gone in the Capitol. Some were just praying outside. Some are just standing on the grass. I'm in the neighborhood. And yet their lives are being upheavaled. So there needs to be justice for the people on this. Absolutely. So the FBI paid people to go to this riot. And not to go to the riot, because it wasn't a riot. I'm sorry, I just misspoke there. It wasn't a riot. You know what? It was a rally. It was a rally of people. They were showing their support for the president, believing that the outcome of this election was not right because of COVID and the massive mail-in ballots that happened all over the United States for the first time ever. And we knew, many people knew, that what happened in 2020 was not right. That's how Captive Audience got started. So anyway, I don't want to go down that, but it's just heartfelt what the heck is happening. And so something else that is happening that I want to bring your attention to is, in after Hurricane Helene, there are still people, because of FEMA's lack of response, because there are many private and independent organizations that are helping these people. This isn't, you have to realize, I've not been there, but I've been reading quite a bit about what happened in Western North Carolina, and also in Tennessee, and it is Eastern Tennessee. This is an area that, when you have a flood from a hurricane, like in Florida, the water just recedes. That's not the case here. These are in ravines that there was, they got 100 inches of rain in an hour or 2 hours in a very short amount of time. And so therefore you get all these rivers rising 40 feet. You've got your house sitting way the heck above a river, and it's still gone. It's not in a floodplain at all. And it's copious amounts of water and it's not just receding necessarily at all in some areas. And there are so many people that has been swept away by the news. There's not enough people talking about what's going on and the lack of resources, and winter is here. And they need help. They need help. And so there are organizations. The Cajun Navy is helping there, and Samaritan's Purse is doing yeoman's work. But I've read reports of other independent groups that are just gathering supplies to help people. And here comes FEMA going, we're confiscating all of that. That's crap. You know what? No government agency has the right to go, well, we're going to take your supplies. Those are some of the stories I've read, and you may have read some of them too, and that is quite disturbing. So I've posted a story here about this, and I want to bring it to your attention because winter is coming. Winter's here. We just got our first little snowing last night. Woke up to about an inch of snow on the ground, and it's pretty much gone. And it's going to be gone because we're going to get up into the mid 40s here. So it's just our little taste of winter. But if I was living in a tent, I would be cold. I would be cold. And there are people that are living in tents. So I'm going to ask our viewers to donate to Samaritan's Purse, donate to Cajun Navy, donate to an organization that is actually doing something to help these people. Those are only two that I know of, and I'm sure that there are others, but we need to help our fellow Americans. They didn't ask for this. They didn't cause it. But yet it's, from what I see, it looks like a war zone. And these are people that have lost everything. Whole towns have been wiped away. So they don't have a livelihood. And if I'll remind you that our vice president said, oh yeah, everybody will get $750. And yet people have been turned away and turned away and turned away. They can't even get 750 dang dollars. Not $750 a month. $750 a period. And so let's help them out. Let's do what you can. Whatever you can do. You know, if you can't send goods or something, send them $5. $5 will help. Whatever it is, it'll help. $5 adds up. You get 5 here and you get 5 there. It adds up. So now I'm going to switch to Oregon, and there is David and I used to talk quite a bit about power here in Oregon. And our governor, those of you who've been listening for quite a while know that I've covered things like this, that our former governor, Kate Brown, said, everybody should have an emergency plan because we're going to have power outages. Well, this article right here is from Oregon Live, and I'm going to paste that into our comment period. And it is regarding, hold on to your horses, that soaring data center electricity demand could trigger Northwest blackouts, the industry insiders say. And what it is they've got to build more transmission lines. That's one of the things. But you also have to produce it. So let's see. One of the ways, and this is because of I've been around these green energy projects for a number of years. and have spoken. I'm not against green energy. I am against where you're using it that it doesn't make sense. And I've spoken about that previously. You know what? Over on an island somewhere, you've got trade winds, 15 knot trade winds, 24/7. Hey, put up some wind turbines. Put up some wind turbines because they'll generate electricity all the time, all the time, all the time. But when you put them in an area that they're only going to work 30% of the time, and out of that 30% of the time, maybe they actually reach their capacity 10% of that 30%. It doesn't make sense. It's a damn shell game. So with this, so data centers, also data mining, which is Bitcoin and these other data coins, they require a lot of power. And so here in the Pacific, in Northeast Oregon, we have several data centers. We have them over in the Dalles. We have them in Morrow County. We have them in Umatilla County. Y'all can post wherever if you know where they're at. And they require water to cool because you have to keep the processing all cool, and the electricity to run it. So a panel of authorities on the data center industry told Northwest Energy Planners Wednesday that the tech sector will take all the electricity it can get its hands on, warning of severe consequences if the region doesn't respond in time. We're going to need to build more transmission faster than any time we have in the last 70 years as a region. Well, right now, ahead of all of these development, or in conjunction, it might look like it's ahead, but I believe it's planned, is the Boardman to Hemingway transmission line. And some people would tell you, well, Boardman, Oregon to Hemingway, Idaho, they go, oh, well, we're going to be, in fact, I even heard a county commissioner say, yes, well, the energy is going to be coming from Idaho to help Oregon. And that's a crock of bull. It's leaving Oregon and going to Idaho, going to California via Idaho is what it is. So y'all like the cloud and you like data and having everything up there. Well, it's not up there, it's on the ground. And it does take a lot of power. I'm not against it. But I've been in hearings where the data center projects have said, we have made a deal and we're going to buy the hydropower. That's the cheapest next to nuclear. We're going to buy the hydropower. Well, you know what? It leaves the rest for us. And this really isn't how energy works. But let's see. If you've got a wire and the power is going through there, well, this much is going to go towards the houses and the rest is going to go towards the data center. So I can choose which one. Well, they've made the deals because when you're consuming a lot of power, you have the power to pay less money for your power, right? If you follow all that. And the little citizens, we pay the most per kilowatt. Well, there's a gripe that so anyway, the data center said we're going to buy hydropower, and actually Google, or it was Microsoft, made a deal to get Hanford up and running, or 3 Mile, not Hanford, 3 Mile Island back up and running, and going, we want one. We're going to pay to get one of the nuclear turbines back up and running at 3 Mile Island. And that's how much power they need, a lot. But it has to be consistent. You can't use renewables that are not consistent. that the wind doesn't blow, right? And the snow gets on the solar panels. It has to be reliable, consistent, reliable energy. So buckle up, it's coming. So Google, so just so you know, this is, in fact, the Robert Cromwell, who consults with Northwest Power Utilities, said the region is already flirting with rolling blackouts because peak energy demand is already near the region's capacity to provide electricity. Well, let me tell you, the data center demand is soaring because of artificial intelligence. Who knew, right? So these powerful machines already consume more than 10% of all Oregon's power, and forecasters say data center power will be at least double that, 20% or more than 20% by 2030. That's 5 years away, and perhaps some multiplier. Well, also, Oregon is one of the nation's largest, fastest growing data center industries, owing in large part to some of the most generous tax breaks anywhere in the world. Well, let's see. When they're raking in millions, so Oregon, let's see, data centers don't employ many people, but the wealthy tech companies that run them enjoy Oregon tax giveaways worth more than $225 million annually. And yet they're taxing us like mad. And when you have a company like Amazon and Google and Apple and Facebook, you don't have to give them. They're giving them the tax incentives. This is anywhere in the world in order to come here and have the business. And it creates jobs while it's building it. But the biggest job after a data center is built is the security. The people they employ, they're not paying them big bucks for security. And yes, there are those that have to come and keep it and make it maintained, but they do not employ a huge amount of people. Trust me, I know. There's installations in Hillsboro as well. Oracle, LinkedIn, and X have huge installations in Hillsboro. This is all eating the electricity. And you wonder why our rates are going up? This is why. There's an enormous jump in demand equivalent to the power use for 3 million houses. And they're expecting the growth to be gigantic in the Northwest for electricity. So why I tell you, Google, in fact, is its big build is $600 million in 2024 in the Dalles in Oregon. They've got the power right there. They've got the river right there to cool it. And it's continuing to expand its data center and cloud operation in the Dalles. Then this other story I've got from Biz Journals. Follow me here. Industrial opportunities pass on Oregon due to lack of development-ready land. So they're going, well, you don't have industrial properties that we can, that we can build on. But yet, this other article from Coin, Oregon approves the largest solar energy project proposal in the nation. Now, solar and wind is industrial energy development. So they are able to put an industrial project on farmland. And on farmland, that's the what is producing what we should be eating. Farmland grows something for consumption of eating or nourishment, right? Fruits, vegetables, meat. And yet this project has been green lighted by state officials, bringing it into Morrow County, a 1,200 megawatt storage facility that is slated to begin construction in 2026 and is over 10,000 acres. And it will sit on private land that is zoned for farm use. Pine Gate Renewables. And, I blame the farmer for selling out, leasing out their land for the incentives that is our tax money that is paying the incentives? No. It's sad that they do. And I know that there are many farmers that don't do it. Because, and you think, well, that's okay. You know what? 10,000 acres, that's a lot of acreage. And, well, Sonny, it's energy. Well, solar panels and wind turbines have an environmental change in the area. It changes, if you've got wine grapes around the area, there's a lot of changes. Erosion to the soils, there's many changes. The wind turbines dry out the land. So you think, well, it's just up there spinning around. Well, it is drying out the land. Now, there's some land that I don't know if this is highly producible soil, I don't know if it is or not. But, once the farmland is gone, it's gone. And that's all there is. And this is something that Oregon has a lot of. Because of our land use laws, we have vast tracts of open land and a lot of farmland, a lot of rich farmland. And which brings me to a different subject. We just our session is going to be starting next year, our long session with our legislators. And this, in the state of Oregon, we have the Energy Facility Siting Council for very large projects. It's a state agency, and they help site these projects. But I'll tell you what they've done. They are not following Oregon counties' ordinances. And the Supreme Court of Oregon has said, oh, you don't have to. But yet our Oregon land use laws state that a county may make their ordinances more strict than the state might deem. But yet here you have an agency that says, we don't care. We don't have to even pay attention to that. We're too big. We're the government. We're the state. We're a state agency, and we don't have to listen to your county. And there was there's a project in Umatilla County out near Echo that I want to say is 20,000 acres, and it's going to be wind and solar and battery storage, a huge project. And the FSEC, Energy Facility Siting Council, says, you know what? We don't have to. We don't have to pay attention to what Umatilla County says as far as their ordinances of siting wind turbines. Because you see, Umatilla County has a 2-mile setback from residences, highly erodible soils, fish, streams with any endangered fish in it. And yet Energy FSEC says we don't have to pay attention to that. Even though our commissioners in Umatilla County said, yes, we want you can cite the project, but we want you to pay attention to this. It would have affected 6 turbines out of all. I don't remember. Let's call it 200. It's a drop in the bucket. But more importantly is now this agency that is every member on Energy Facility Siting Council is appointed by the governor. And they're from all over the state, and they are in all types of experiences of, they're just a volunteer group. And they decided, along with the Oregon Department of Energy, who kind of helps them oversee all this stuff, they decided they don't have to listen to counties in their ordinances. This is a huge problem in Oregon. So I'm telling you this because in this next legislative session, I would like all of you to talk to your senators. There will be a bill coming up that we need to rein in the Energy Facility Siting Council. But it's not just that. We need to blanketly rein in all of the state agencies and to follow the letter of the law, which is what our legislators wrote, which is what is in our land use. And the sad part of this case with Umatilla County is it went right to the Supreme Court. It did not go to LUBA, Land Use Board of Appeals, and it should have gone to LUBA because I believe LUBA would have remanded it back to FSEC and said, no, you have to follow our land use codes. You know, I mean, that's the law. That's what the legislators wrote. And we have here in Oregon, sadly, state agencies running amok and running over not just the little people, they're running over the counties. They don't care. And part of the reason, unfortunately, is because our governor doesn't care either. It is bring all the green energy into our state, consume our farmland, bring it all in here because you know why? It's all about the Gitas. It's all about the money. That's the bottom line. And it's really a sad deal. It's a sad deal. And so I ask you to, and I'm telling you this way ahead of time because I know this legislation should be brought up. You know, it's got to get out of committee first, and the Democrats have super majorities, so good luck for us. But you know what? This affects everybody in every county in the state of Oregon. And like I said, I am not against energy development, but it needs to be smart. I am against it taking up our productive farm ground. You know, if you have to have it, if we have to have it, let's put it on scab land somewhere. Put it on some soil, someplace that is not going to be producing food. Because there are those places. There are those places. For sure. I guarantee you. And so here we are. We're going to get non-reliable energy built in Oregon. And Pat, I see your statement of nuclear energy's best. You know what? I'm with you. But Oregon voted to ban nuclear like 30 years ago. So until legislation is changed to overturn that, we are not going to get any nuclear plants in the state of Oregon. And so Okay, so I wanted to talk a little about that. And it takes a little bit of while to try to explain it. I hope I did it justice, explaining what you know what some of this is, because 10,000 acre solar panels, and the initial estimate placed on this project is over $1 billion. This 10,000. Oh, it can have as much energy for 300,000 homes on a good day. On a good day. And we're not building 300,000 homes in Oregon. And they're going, you know what? It's so nice in Eastern Oregon because it's relatively flat and dry. Well, no, not where I live. It isn't. It's, of course, I'm at the base of the Blue Mountains. We have some highly productive prime farmland right here. And the energy companies are clamoring to try to put solar panels and wind turbines on all of it. And it is some of the most productive wheat ground in our area. And we've got beautiful vineyards in our area and orchards. And it will change the environment. But one of the saving graces, maybe, is Trump is coming in. And I pray he kills it all. I pray he kills it all. Now, does that make me sound like I don't want jobs in Oregon? Maybe, but I do want jobs in Oregon. And there can be a lot of jobs. All you have to do is apply for a variance. It takes going through some different things and going through the county planning and saying, you know what, we'd like to do this, XYZ. There's not enough inventory. Let's make some inventory. You know what? It's all doable. It's all doable. It doesn't have to all be green energy. Some things I wanted to run through a little bit quickly. The Secretary of State failed to provide an update on the non-citizens voting. We're at like 54,000, I think is the last number I heard. It's going to be higher. It's going to be higher. So shame on the Secretary of State. And I hope they keep the motor voter deal paused. I absolutely do. Over in St. Helens, their school board is searching for new members because of the whole scandal with St. Helens School Board. They had hired and then fired. They had people charged with sexual abuse of kids, and so thank goodness. So there's, the principal was even arrested. The principal in St. Helens School District of the high school, and arrested and accused for not reporting the abuse to the authorities. And so St. Helens is searching for new school board members. And if you know anybody there that's got some ethics, tell them to go apply. They need some help over there for sure. Absolutely. And then St. Helens, you know what? There's some crap going on there that's just not good. Their school district hired a PR consultant who was Tom DeLapp, who now has had to step down because his convictions for embezzlement in California has come to light. And he says, oh, well, I'm stepping down because it's become an unfortunate distraction. Hello, you don't do a background check? These people in St. Helens, they need some help. Seriously, seriously bad. Hire somebody who's been convicted, not charged. We're talking convicted in California of embezzlement. Was he going to do the same? I don't know about that part. Shame, shame, shame over there. And, Oregon mismanaged the wildfire costs and the wildfire. So they were $218 million short. The governor had to call a short session an emergency session, excuse me. And the lawmakers said, oh, here you go. Here's 218 million. And the fighting the fires of this past season was $350 million. And so they took 1 point, let's see, they took, I have a thing here that says where they took the money from. They took the money out, some out of the general fund and some out of an emergency fund. Here it is. The first portion was 107 million, almost 108 from the emergency fund, and 218 and the other another 109.3 from general fund. Yeah. Mismanagement. Oregon doesn't know how to manage shit, let me tell you. It's awful, awful, awful. Okay, I got a fun one for you. I'm going to post a link to this. We're going to have a few fun and good news stuff, after all of that. And this is vote for your vote for the worst Oregon politician. And this is from Oregon Catalyst. And what it says is, for 24 years, the Taxpayer Association of Oregon has given taxpayer awards to honor Oregon's worst political figure, worst example of government waste, worst example of bureaucratic bungle of 2024, the Golden Schnoz, which is worst example of government sticking its nose where it doesn't belong. And so here are the nominees for the worst political figure. And I want you to go vote on this. Use that link. So Portland City Commissioner Carmen Rubio, during her campaign for mayor, the media reported that she had more than 150 parking or traffic violations. Oh my gosh, including 6 different driver's license suspensions for unpaid fines and failure to appear. And then yet I'm running to be a Portland City Commissioner. This is like these people that work at the IRS and never pay taxes. It's Governor Tina Kotek. In a highly controversial and ethical dubious move, Kotek created an office space for her wife in the governor's office and hired her full-time for $11,000 a month. Government paid scheduler assistant. Kotek's wife was accused of using her position to lobby lawmakers. 4 top Kotek officials resigned during this scandal: the chief of staff, the deputy chief of staff, legal advisor, and communications director. And I believe now the governor's wife is not there. So that's the one. Another one is Portland State University President Ann Cudd. When anti-Israel protesters began vandalizing the campus and threatening Jewish students, PSU Ann Cudd invited the protesters to camp out. So that's number 3. And number 4 is, of course, our Secretary of State, Lavon Griffin Vlad. Secretary of State Vlad was caught off guard when it was announced that 306 non-citizens were illegally on the voter rolls mere weeks before the ballots, before early ballots were mailed. And then a week passed and the number grew to 1,259. And right now it is the number of unverified voters is as high as 54,600. I guarantee you that number is going to be going up. And there you are. There's your 4 choices. Go vote for them. I can't wait to see who the winner is. I can't wait. West Point, there's old Pete Hegseth. I sure like him. And he is, there are the people that don't want him. He has been appointed, nominated, and he is. So there's been a scandal going, well, West Point never sent him, to go to West Point. And he called him out on X. He posted, here's my acceptance letter. Here's my letter from West Point. And West Point says, well, no. Then West Point now has apologized. It confirms it accepted Trump nominee Pete Hegseth to the academy, and it never should have gone there. It never should have gone there. And Pete Hegseth has been the nominee to lead the Pentagon, and I can't wait to see him get approved. I think it'll be great. We're in for some very deep cleaning, I believe. We need it. We need to shrink our government down. Absolutely. Get it a little back under control. Not a little, a lot, a lot. Hey, I wanted to remind you at the end of the year, before the end of the year, don't forget to use your free political tax credit. You can donate to Taxpayer Association of Oregon. We get a lot of stories from them. I know that all of us on Captive Audience, Kevin and Don and I, use their resources a lot. $50, because if you don't donate it to a politician or a PAC, a political action committee, then you're just giving it to them because they'll take your tax credit. So it's $50 a person or $100 a couple. The other thing I would recommend, if you would like to, donate to your local county Republican Party. They could use the money. Most of them have a PAC. I can't say they all do because I don't know, but most of them have a PAC, and your local county Republicans are doing things. And in Umatilla County, we're doing a lot of things. And so I invite you to do that as well. So that's what I got tonight. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, there we go. Early start to spring cleaning. And you guys will be back on Monday. And I hope, you know what? I got a little bit of Christmas shopping done today. And I do apologize. I was not here last Friday. I will apologize again. Went to my nephew's 15th birthday party. And it started at 2:00 in the afternoon. I thought it was all going to get done and I would do Captive Audience. Well, the party ended up moved to our house, and where we had, cake and ice cream. So, hey, I was having a party here at my house. So I'm sorry about that. I never thought it would go like that, but that's the way it did. And this is life, and we just roll with it. And I appreciate all of you understanding all that. I got quite a few messages. Oh, go have fun. Because I did come. I think it was later. I looked at my watch and it was like 6:30. I went, oh no, actually not my watch. I don't wear one. I looked at my phone. And so it's, you got to be with family. It was a lot of fun. My nephew's 15, 6 foot tall, a big boy, big young man. And so everybody have a blessed weekend. Get some Christmas shopping done. Shop local, shop small, and help our local economies because they need it. Absolutely. Have a super weekend. Am I hearing future extended episode? No. All right, you guys. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.